Saturday evening in 1948, John Wooden, the 37-year-old basketball coach of Indiana State Teachers College, was waiting for a 6 p.m. phone call that never came. At 7 p.m., another expected call did come through, offering him the job of head basketball coach at the University of California, Los Angeles. He accepted, thinking that the University of Minnesota, who was supposed to call him at 6 p.m., had decided not to offer him the job. Wooden, who had grown up in Indiana, been an All-American at Purdue, and dreamed of coaching in the Big Ten and keeping his family in the Midwest, was disappointed by Minnesota's decision. The twist is that Minnesota wanted to offer Wooden the job, but a major winter storm had knocked out phone service in Minneapolis-St. Paul. The phones came back up, and Minnesota called Wooden a little after 7 to offer him the job. This narrative goes like no one would expect today. Wooden declined the Minnesota job, the one he wanted, simply because he had given UCLA his word, and in doing that, changed college basketball forever. Wooden coached at UCLA for 27 seasons, becoming the most successful college basketball coach in NCAA history. He coached greats such as Bill Walton and Lou Alcindor, and won 10 national championships between 1962 and 1975, all while remaining a committed family man and a devout Christian. He never swore or rose his voice, and as a player and coach over 3 decades, received only 2 technical fouls. When players would arrive at UCLA, even after Coach Wooden had achieved legendary status, they were shocked that the first thing he covered was nothing about basketball, but instead how to properly wear socks to avoid blisters. The first several practices of the year were conducted without basketballs, and players would run through the offense and shooting drills with nothing but air in between their fingers. And while everyone, regardless of race or creed, was treated with respect, no one got special treatment. Just ask Hall of Famer Bill Walton, who led UCLA to its 7th straight national title in 1973 by going 21 of 22 from the field and scoring 44 points in the title game. That same Bill Walton showed up to the first practice of the year following his championship performance with hair too long for team policy. When Coach Wooden confronted him, Walton told him it was his right to wear his hair that long. Wooden calmly told Walton that he had 15 minutes to get his hair cut or he would be off the team. Walton, the player of the year, ran straight to the barbershop and told them to shave it all off and then sprinted back just in time for the start of practice. The stories and achievements of Wooden's coaching career can go on, but one thing that cannot be missed is that Wooden very rarely prepared for a specific team. No scouting reports, no tweaking his plan to match up better. To him, all he could do was prepare his team to perform their best, and that meant working very hard to be the best team they could be. For Wooden, basketball, and life for that matter, were never about beating the other team, but rather about doing your personal best. While it may not follow the exact breakdown of the word, many of us today understand competition as striving to beat someone else. And if this is the case, then you could conclude that Coach Wooden, the 10-time national championship coach, had a non-competitive nature. In the beauty of Christianity, we can now let this simple basketball coach teach us a profound truth about the nature of God. The most significant formulation of the church's teaching on Jesus Christ came in 451 AD at the Council of Chalcedon, where the church declared that Jesus Christ is true God and true man. He is not half God and half man. He is 100% God and 100% man. And this is only possible because the two natures, both human and divine, are not in competition with each other. Most people today think of God as some supreme being out in space somewhere, but that can't be. God simply is. He is ungraspable and unavoidable at the same time. And in the incarnation of Jesus Christ, nothing human has to give way. It is a mistake of modern atheism to assert that, in the words of Jean-Paul Sarte, if God exists, I cannot be free, but I am free. Therefore, God does not exist. No, God's existence is the only way I can be free, because He is not in competition with me. He is not an angry God trying to find where we have messed up. He is a loving Father who wants to save his children. He is love. Sarte had it wrong because his starting point was wrong. He is just as wrong as Ludwig Feuerbach, who said that the no to God is the yes to man. If God was just another being in the universe, then Christians could agree. But he isn't. Instead, we realize that the more I give to God, the more I am myself. To surrender to God is to find my best self. We can learn all of this from studying the great writings and theology of 2,000-year history of the church. And we can also learn it from a 20th century basketball coach, a self-proclaimed simple man who coached 10 teams to national championships by using the Playbook of the Divine, a playbook that puts God and man back on the same team.
3, 2, 1.